Here are all the games that I finished in October. So the very first game that I finished in October is called Night in the Woods. You are a college dropout named May, and you're heading back home to your old town, and you're just hanging out with old friends and getting back into the swing of things, and you go to a party in the woods, and you see some weird crap happen that you can't explain, and you're trying to tell everybody, and everybody's like, "Oh, May, you're just drunk. Go back to bed. You're okay." And you keep explaining to people, like, I saw something weird happen in the woods. There was a group of people and they were doing stuff to other people. Like, I need to tell somebody. I need to do something about it. And so only a couple of your friends believe you. And so you go investigate the woods again. So you have to find out what creepiness is happening. And it's story driven, narrative driven. So it's not going to be like chasing or survival or anything like that. More of figure out the puzzle and then it'll move on to the next part of the story. I liked it. It was good. I recommend it only to people who like story-driven games, but it's definitely on Game Pass and it's been floating around PlayStation Plus, so worth your time. After that, I played a game that was a shooter. It's called Matt Hazard Bloodbath and Beyond. This is the sequel to Eat Lead, I think it was. And basically, you're Matt Hazard again, and it's a run and gun shooter, and I enjoyed it. It's kind of like Contra. Basically, you play the game, and there's like homages to old other games, like Mario Bros. There's a level where you literally are on blocks and running around and then you hit a flag. I enjoyed it. It's a fun shooter. I probably wouldn't have paid for it, to be honest. It's not my cup of tea when I'm playing, but it was decent and I am okay at the shooters, so the level of difficulty is not Contra, but it's not so easy to where you just walk through and you're done. So if you like shooters, definitely try this out. I had a fun time with it. Then I played a game that is, I believe, a sequel to Time Crisis. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Basically, it's Raising Storm. It's a on-rails shooter where you're an arcade and you have a light gun and you basically have to keep going through. It's like 2030 and you're trying to get a leader of the rebels and you go through and you're battling everybody. And it does remind me a lot of Time Crisis, but they changed it a little bit to fit the story for this game. Your military group, and so you're going through and the same thing, like you could get hit by missiles and different things like that. So you have a pedal, just like Time Crisis. You have to hit the pedal to go through, and then there's like a shield instead of like just you're hiding behind something. It's like you have a shield and you have to use that. I had a fun time with this. I played this at the convention, and I played and a guy joined me and then he left. So the game was a little bit harder because I was like, oh crap. But eventually his coins went away and then I just kept playing and finished the story. But yeah, it lets you have different endings to where if you complete everything on time or if you fail, there's still two or three endings. So you're not going to just have the game stop on you. So I liked it. Definitely try it out if you like Time Crisis. It's worth your time. Then I was at the convention again and I saw a PlayStation 2 just sitting there with a bunch of games, and it was really cool that there was an American PlayStation and then there was a Japanese PlayStation. And so I sat next to the PlayStation that was Japanese and I saw there was a bunch of fighters and I was like, hey, let me try some. I hadn't played Soulcalibur 2 in forever and I was like, let me throw it in. And I did play as Heihachi. For those who don't know, my favorite franchise with them throwing each other off of a cliff is Tekken. And so I played as Heihachi, burned through that, got through it really easy. If you ever play Soulcalibur, he has a lot of power moves. Just use power moves and knock everybody out of the ring. It's easy peasy. You'll have fun time with it. But yeah, I don't know what they said for his ending because it was all in Japanese. So if you know what his ending said, please let me know in the comments below. Then I played another convention game. This was one that had machines on the side. Basically, it's Invasion the Abductors, and you are defending a city against a bunch of aliens who are trying to suck everybody up in spaceships, and that's like, okay, woo. So basically, you see people running, and then they go on a beam. If you get them and you knock the ship down, you save a bunch of people. So I enjoyed the game. It was funny. It's another on-rails shooter that I just walked by and I was like, hey, let's play this. I did have a good time. It's kind of like, the cabinet is kind of like Primal Rage. It's very small, compact. So if you like the compact, feel of those, you'll have a better time with this. Or like Raising Storm. If you like a bigger cabinet to be able to have more space between the people. Yeah, it's okay either way. I enjoyed it, so definitely try it out. It's a 90s shooter that I don't know how I missed, but I had a good time with it and definitely worth your time. After that, I got into a Halloween kick and I played Dead Space Remake because it was one of the monthly games for PlayStation 5. And I had a fun time with this. So basically, you are Isaac, and just like aliens, you are trying to save somebody. You get a distress signal from a ship, and you go over there only to find out something horrible has happened, and you're trying to figure it out and save your people that have been stuck on the ship. So you're trying to go through. Um, it does have a lot of changes as far as like the story, how it plays out. If you ever played the original, which I played a little bit of, and I got stuck somewhere and I can't remember, and I think I ran out of ammo and I just stopped playing it. But I've played Dead Space, and basically when the monsters attack you, they stun you for a second. They got rid of that, and basically now they stun you, but they don't like woof, and then you fall down. So this one, you don't have the kind of like Raising Storm. You have the tank gun. They got rid of that, and so basically you're just floating through the space, and you're trying to get rid of like the asteroids and different things like that. The narrative has changed a little bit. It's not horrible. It's basically they just told it in a little bit different way based on the actors how they did the scene. So you're still seeing like the way the beats were. Like they probably were like, "This is the beat you have to hit. Make sure you hit that," and then that was it. But I had a good time with this game. It's gonna be on my top 10. I just don't know where. But I enjoyed Dead Space Remake. Definitely try it out if you have not seen it. I don't know why. It's worth your time. I enjoyed it, and they do have it a little bit easier than the original games, so you won't be suffering through the whole time. Just shoot the legs and you're good to go. Then I also saw that they put The Last of Us Part 1, which is a remaster of The Last of Us, which was also a remaster of The Last of Us. So basically, they just kept remastering it. The story hasn't changed at all. Everything is exactly the same. They just upped the graphics a little bit. So if you played Last of Us, it's exactly the same. Nothing's different. It's just remastered again from the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5. It's a great story. Love the game. It won't be on my top 10 because I already have played and beat this. And so technically I feel like even though it's a remaster, it's not changed enough to count it. It's like Dead Space, they changed a lot of the story and the boss fights and everything like that, so it can be counted. This one, nah. I enjoyed the game. I like Joel. I like Ellie. I like everything about it, but just, nah. It's just one of those where it's like, it's not changed enough to be able to count it as a top 10. So definitely try it out. It's free right now on PlayStation Plus, and you get to relive an awesome story. I don't know if they'll ever put part 2 on there. We'll see. Because I heard a rumor that they're going to get part 3 out, so maybe that's why they're releasing all the games now. So we'll see. Then I played a game called The Addams Family Mansion Mayhem. Basically, you are saving the mansion from an evil guy, and you have to get the family crest back. It is a platformer where you are one of the members of the family. You could be Pugsley, Wednesday, Morticia, or Gomez. And you get a sword and different abilities and power-ups, and you'll have like a little octopus that will help you fly through the air. You'll have different things like abilities to like swing with a spider, stuff like that. So they changed a little bit of the storyline to match the game, but I liked it. It was a good platformer. It's very easy though, just FYI. If you lose all your hearts, you don't start at the very beginning of the level. You start from the checkpoint of where you were at. So if you backtrack and you get a different power-up and you get thrown back to the other part, you're screwed. So just basically start the level over again, because I had that happen a couple times where I was like, I'm going to get all these like family crests to move on to the next part. It's a short game. There's only like 50 something levels. So if you want to play it, you're going to have a good time. Buy it cheap though, because it only took me a couple hours because I'm used to platformers. So you're going to burn through it fast. Then I played Alone in the Dark. This is a reimagining of the old first game from, basically it's a PC game back in the day from like the 90s or late 80s. And you're pretty much 2 characters. It's kind of like Resident Evil 2. You can play through and get different scenarios. I didn't play 2 runs of the game because I didn't really feel like it was going to be changing it that much to be able to play it. Like Resident Evil 2, they have a lot that's different. So you could either be the private detective or you could be Emily, the niece of the guy that you're looking for. And pretty much she hasn't heard from her uncle, and she gets a note that's weird and strange that says, "Don't come see me, don't find me." And of course, I don't listen to the note. It's the 1920s. I'm gonna go see what's wrong, and instead of just sending out the police, we're gonna go investigate it ourselves. And so you go to the mansion and you see a bunch of weird people who all say, "Yeah, your uncle's missing. I don't know what happened to him. It's okay." And the staff's like, "No, he's fine. He's just somewhere around." And they're like, "No, he's actually missing." So you go investigate the mansion, and you're not sure of who to believe. You start seeing some weird crap creatures that make no sense that are kind of like Silent Hill. This game reminds me of Resident Evil 2 mixed with Silent Hill, where you'll have moments of like it flips. Like you'll see like there's fog in the air and you're like, "Oh crap, the creatures are gonna be out now." And then all of a sudden it snaps him back in, or her, and the scene changes and it's back to normal. So you'll have moments of like, is this person going insane, or is this person actually legit seeing something creepy going on? So you have to investigate and keep going through the mansion. But the one thing that I didn't like was the other character, when stuff's going on, they don't believe you. And so they're supposed to be experiencing the same thing at the same time. So wouldn't the other character believe what's going on? It doesn't make any sense to me, because I would be talking to her when they reconnect and they go, "Hey, this is what's happening." And then you would see her go, "Oh, what's wrong with you? What's happening to you?" And he's like, "I just saw something horrible happen." And she's like, "What are you talking about? I'm like seeing nothing at all." And so she's experiencing the same thing. She's looking for the emblems and different things like that to figure out the puzzles. Wouldn't she have the same experience as him? Or something different, but just be like, "Yeah, there's something weird going on in this mansion"? I don't get it. So that's the only thing that I didn't like about the game. Other than that, it was a good game. It's a horror game. I didn't like the stealth part. I hated that guy, the mask. I forget his name. He was annoying. That part, I kept dying at that part, and so I had to keep redoing it over and over and over again. So, yeah, if you don't like stealth, this is not going to be up your alley, so just play it to have fun. There is combat in it, so you'll have a good time with that. Then the second to the last game that I finished was The Bunker. I streamed this game, and basically it's a FMV game where a young man is the last person in this bunker. Something horrible had happened in the surface, and basically kind of like Fallout, it's radiation everywhere and everybody is staying in the bunker. And you see throughout the story, weird crap had been happening. People were turning on each other, and so you don't know who basically destroyed everybody, knocked everybody out, and did something horrible to them. So you're trying to figure that out as the story is playing out. And then you have a couple choices. There's a few endings. I did platinum the game just to see the other endings and different things like that. So there is collectibles. You collect toys that he made when he was a child. And then you have like computers to look at and documents to look at. So as you're going through, you have to find them, and then that's how you get your trophies. So like I literally got a bunch of trophies my first playthrough. So definitely try it out. It's not going to be horrible. You might get bored with the scenes a little bit because you've seen the game played once through, but I didn't find it horrible. So definitely play The Bunker. Just get it for cheap. That's all I say. The last game that I finished for the month was Cat Quest. This is an RPG. It's an action RPG that has an open world feel to it. Basically, you're a cat and your sister has been kidnapped by an evil guy, and he tells you have to defeat 3 dragons or you will not be able to see your sister again. So you have to level up. I like that there's an ability to be able to gain levels by just keep going back to the harder areas, and I enjoyed there's like a little Halloween area where it's like a ghost spooky candies on the ground and you had ghosts and everything like that. And each area was specific. Like if you open up the map, you could see like there was a snow area, there was a regular area. And again, if you walked around and you were like, "Oh crap, there's skulls," like red skulls will tell you like this was gonna one hit kill you and you're done. So save a lot. I did that and I really enjoyed it. It's a good game. There is moments where I'm like, kind of like copy and paste of certain things, but it wasn't horrible. It's quick RPG if you want to play a game that's not going to take you that long. So you're not going to get like 100 hours out of this game. You're going to, unless you want to get every single dungeon. It kind of reminds me of like Link, the one from the Super Nintendo, where he's running around getting all the dungeons, and different dungeons are different levels and stuff like that. That's what I recommend if you want to get 100 hours out of this game. I think there's like level 200 I saw on the map, so I played it all the way through. I got to probably about level 56, and then I tried to finish the ending and I got it. I did die a lot at the end. The guy, I thought it was going to be like super quick, but once I learned the power up that I needed to stop him, then it became easier of a fight. So just learn your power ups. There's like 6 total, I think, 6 or 7 total power ups you can get. And so you're going to be a fighter with magical elements, or you can be all magic. So it just depends on what you want to do. You can make your cats however you want them to be. That's the one thing I like about it. It's not just a fighter, or you can be a little bit of both if you want to, which is what I did. I was a fighter with a little bit of magic in me to be able to knock out everything. So had a good time with that one for sure. I finished 11 games in total for October, so I am at 101. I had a fun time with October. I played a bunch of spooky games. Probably going to keep playing spooky games because I got a few of them after Halloween. So, how was your October? If you're new, please consider subscribing. It does help out the channel, and give it a like before you roll out, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
She's playing on all night, from vintage to modern, she's the queen of the fight. From in San Diego, the Grand Theft Auto streets, Oregon Trail to Oregon Trail, she's got the beats. Stand back, she's got the dingy knee in hand with VHS recording, she's in command. From 8-bit wonders to the latest craze, Linda the gamer gal, she's here to amaze.